If your hair has stopped feeling like you, stopped feeling youthful, elegant, and alive, I want you to watch every single second of this video, because what I am about to share with you today is going to completely change the way you see yourself every time you look in that mirror. We are covering 5 rejuvenating haircuts that are turning heads, dropping jaws, and making women over 60 look radiant, wealthy, and absolutely stunning in a way that no product, no treatment, and no quick fix has ever been able to deliver. And here is what I need you to understand before we dive in. The reason your hair may be aging you right now has nothing to do with getting older, and everything to do with the wrong cut sitting on the right woman. And that is something we are changing today. Each one of these 5 haircuts was chosen with great intention, specifically for the woman who knows she deserves to look as extraordinary on the outside as she feels on the inside. I have seen these cuts transform women completely, not just their appearance, but the way they carry themselves, the way they walk into a room, the way they own every single space they step into. The 5th one especially, I saved it for last, because it is the most powerful, the most transformative, and honestly, the one that very few women over 60 have ever been told about in the way it truly deserves. So stay with me all the way through, because by the time we reach that final haircut, you're going to want to pick up your phone and call your hairdresser immediately. The first haircut on our list today is one that I personally believe is one of the most romantic and quietly powerful styles a woman over 60 can walk into a salon and ask for. And I want you to stay with me here, because what I am about to describe is going to completely shift the way you think about your hair. I call it the wavy lob with a deep side part. And if elegance ever took a physical form, this would be it. Now you might be thinking, a lob sounds simple, even ordinary, but what we are talking about here is something far more intentional than that. The lob sits beautifully between your collarbone and your shoulders, and that positioning is not accidental. It is the absolute sweet spot for a mature woman's neckline, long enough to feel feminine and full, short enough to lift and frame your face without ever overwhelming it. Now add soft, loose, wide waves throughout, not tight curls, not a stiff blowout, but those relaxed, flowing waves that move naturally when you move. And suddenly you have something that feels almost effortless, like beauty that did not try too hard and landed perfectly anyway. The deep side part is where this cut goes from pretty to genuinely powerful. And here is what I want you to understand about why it works so beautifully, specifically for you after 60. As we age, the crown area naturally loses some of its volume and density, and a center part will expose that flatness immediately, drawing attention directly to it. But a deep side part creates instant volume on one side, completely disguises any thinning at the crown, and adds a visual drama to your face that is honestly stunning. It elongates you, it slims you, it sophisticates everything about the way you carry yourself. And the waves cascading from that deep side part create a soft framing movement that draws every eye upward toward your best features, without a single makeup trick or filter in the world being able to compete with it. The second haircut is for the woman who loves her length, who has held on to it through every trend and every well-meaning suggestion from a stylist who wanted to take it all off. And I want you to know that your instinct to keep that length is not wrong. It just needs the right architecture around it. I call it the V-cut with crown lift, and I genuinely believe this is one of the most strategically brilliant haircuts available to women over 60 who want to look instantly slimmer, taller, and more radiant without making any dramatic change to their overall look. Here is what the cut actually does. Long layers are created throughout the hair that form a gentle V shape at the back, with the crown sitting slightly shorter and the length graduating beautifully downward toward the ends, creating a flowing, elongated silhouette that makes your neck look longer and your entire posture look more refined and intentional. But what I really want you to pay attention to is what happens at the crown, because this is where the magic lives. When we give the crown volume and lift, something remarkable happens to your entire face. Expression lines soften visually. Your eyes look more open and awake, your cheekbones appear higher, and you carry an energy that no amount of concealer or highlighter could ever replicate on its own. The V-layered structure achieves this naturally by removing excess weight from the crown and encouraging your hair to lift rather than lie flat against your head. The third haircut on our list today is one that I want you to hear with completely fresh ears, because I know the moment I say the word bob, something in you might want to skip ahead, and I am asking you not to do that, because what I am about to describe is nothing like the bob you are picturing right now. I call it the luminous layered bob, and it is not your grandmother's bob. It is not the blunt, stiff, heavy cut that drags the face downward and adds years to a woman's appearance. This is something entirely different, something architectural, something that I have seen completely transform the way a woman looks, and more importantly, the way she feels about herself when she catches her reflection unexpectedly. This bob falls just at or slightly below the jawline, but the real secret is what is happening on the inside of the hair, where layers are cut invisibly within the interior of the style. You cannot see them from the outside, but you can absolutely feel them and see the extraordinary effect they create. A natural movement, an effortless volume, a lightness that makes your hair look alive and full of quiet energy without ever appearing overdone or overstyled. Now here's what I want you to really understand about why this matters so deeply for you, specifically after 60. As we age and hair begins to lose some of its natural density, a blunt one-length bob can sit flat and heavy against the face, pulling everything downward with it. But this layered version does the opposite. It lifts, it floats, it creates that feather-like quality that makes the people around you stop and think, what is she doing differently? Because she looks absolutely incredible. The cut frames your face in the most flattering way possible, drawing every eye upward toward your cheekbones and the brightness of your eyes, while gently and beautifully softening the jaw and chin area that so many women over 60 feel most self-conscious about. And I want to be very clear about something here. It does not hide you. It highlights the very best of you, and that is a profoundly different thing. If you have fine or thinning hair, this cut is going to feel like a miracle because it creates the illusion of thickness and fullness without adding any bulk whatsoever. If your hair is naturally thicker, those invisible interior layers remove the excess weight while keeping the shape completely intact and elegant. Either way, you win, and that is exactly the kind of cut you deserve, one that works with you, not against you, and makes getting ready in the morning feel like the most luxurious 5 minutes of your day. The fourth haircut is the one that I want you to lean in for, because we are now moving into territory that most stylists are simply not talking about loudly enough when it comes to women over 60. And I think that is a conversation worth having right now. I call it the modern shag with curtain bangs. And before you let any old association with the word shag put you off, I need you to stay with me here and truly listen to what this cut looks like and what it actually does for a mature woman's face, because it is nothing short of extraordinary. The modern shag is built on abundant, deliberate layers that are distributed throughout the entire length of your hair, at the crown, through the mid-lengths, and all the way into the ends. And what this creates is something I can only describe as three-dimensional hair. Hair that has depth, hair that has movement at every single level, hair that catches the light differently at every angle and produces that rich, luminous quality that makes it look healthy, thick, and youthful, regardless of its actual texture or density. Now, the curtain bangs are the element that takes this cut from beautiful to genuinely age-defying, and I want you to understand exactly why. Curtain bangs part naturally in the middle and sweep softly to either side of your face, framing your eyes and your upper cheekbones like an elegant, gentle border. They are longer than traditional bangs, grazing your cheekbones or falling slightly below, which means they blend seamlessly into the rest of your hair and never look heavy, blunt, or severe. What they do for you specifically after 60 is remarkable. They soften your forehead entirely, drawing gentle attention away from any lines or texture in that area, without hiding behind a thick, heavy fringe. And when your eyes are framed this beautifully, your whole face looks more awake, more vibrant, and more alive than it has in years. I have seen this combination do things for a woman's appearance that expensive serums and treatments have been promising and failing to deliver for decades. The curtain bang also brings something we do not talk about enough: warmth and approachability, a magnetic quality that makes people want to look at you and keep looking. And the versatility of this cut is something I genuinely love. You can wear those bangs swept fully to the sides, pinned back for drama, or blended right into the layers on a low-maintenance morning, and every single version of it looks intentional, polished, and effortlessly refined. We have arrived at the fifth and final haircut, and I want you to know that I saved this one for last with complete intention, because this is the cut that I believe carries the most transformative power of everything we have covered today, and very few women over 60 have ever been introduced to it in the way it truly deserves to be presented. I call it the sophisticated textured pixie, and I already know what some of you are feeling right now. The word pixie lands, and something inside you says, too short, too harsh, too masculine, too drastic. And I want to look you in the eye through this screen and tell you directly that the version I'm describing is absolutely none of those things. This is a long, soft, textured pixie, and it is honestly one of the most breathtaking cuts a woman over 60 can wear when it is done with the right intention and the right hands. The sides and nape are kept slightly shorter and beautifully clean, while the top carries more length with soft texture and deliberate movement built into every strand. The front pieces fall gently forward, grazing your forehead or sweeping softly to one side, and that asymmetry is exactly where the magic lives. Here is something I find fascinating about what asymmetry does for a mature face. It breaks up the horizontal lines that naturally become more visible with age across the forehead and along the jaw, and replaces them with diagonal energy that draws the eye on a completely different and far more flattering path. It creates movement where there was stillness, it adds modernity where there was predictability, and the result is a face that looks sculpted, intentional, and quietly stunning. But what I really want you to sit with is what happens at the nape of your neck when this cut is done well. Because this is the detail that we so rarely talk about, and it deserves its moment. When the nape is kept clean and the sides are shorter, your neck becomes part of the statement. It elongates, it appears slimmer and more graceful, and that elongation travels upward, making your entire posture look taller and more refined in a way that people notice without ever being able to explain exactly why. Women who wear this cut walk differently, and I mean that sincerely. There is a confidence that comes from choosing something bold and discovering that it makes you look absolutely stunning, and you deserve to feel every inch of that confidence every single day. Your beauty does not have an expiration date. It never did. What changes with age is not your beauty. It is simply the prescription. Just like glasses that once worked perfectly, but now need updating to show you the world clearly, your haircut needs updating to show the world you clearly. The woman you are at 60, at 65, at 70 is more interesting, more layered, and more deeply herself than she has ever been before. Take these 5 cuts to your next salon appointment and let one conversation change everything. If this video gave you something today, subscribe right now, because every week I show up here for you.